guys, here's Torsten back with In Full Effect, and today I have the review for you guys of the Razer Tiamat gaming headset 7.1 version 2. And actually I really didn't want to buy this headset because I saw so many reviews on YouTube which were quite negative. They were saying things along the lines of Razer's worst product ever, and I actually pulled the trigger eventually because I got it here in the store for a reasonable price. When I wanted to buy it for the first time, it wasn't here available in Japan, and then I saw the reviews and I really gave up on it, and I bought some other stuff, some other headsets like the Sennheiser Game 1, or I had last year I had bought the A50s, which is a great headset. But the main difference between those and the Razer is that those were virtual surround headsets, which means there's only one speaker installed in each ear cup, and the Razer is a true surround headset, which means that you have multiple speakers in each ear cup, which you can actually see through the glass cover of the ear cups. And actually you have to know how to use those headsets, otherwise you will get really a bad performance and a bad sound out of them. But if you know how to connect them properly and what to use them for, I think this is one of the most important points, then you will have an awesome product, guys. And actually I'm not gonna tease too much, but let's go through the review first. But I really love this headset, so let's get into the details. Let's go through my typical rating categories, and then let's come up with a conclusion at the end of the video. Alright guys, let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's come to the review, and I want to give you an overview of the headset itself first and the amplifier that comes with it. And maybe let's start with the amplifier, because that will already bring me to a little bit of an explanation of how you have to connect the headset to your PC. So here, looking at the amplifier, I think it's a really neat design. The lights are not, you cannot change the color, so you have to live with green. I'm not sure if that is a good match for your setup, but well, let's start at the bottom here. You can toggle on and off the microphone. You can switch between the headset itself or the surround speakers you can actually connect to this amplifier. I'll come to that in a bit. Then you can toggle between 7.1 sound and normal stereo sound. I don't recommend to do that because then the headset sounds horrible. And then you can also adjust the volume separately for all of the channels. The main volume, which regulates all the channels at once, and then the front, center, side, rear, subwoofer, and the microphone level. And at the rear you can see the inputs, so if you want to additionally connect some surround speakers, you can do that here at the rear. And just to show you how you have to connect the headset, the amplifier, let me go to the back of my PC. So it's a little bit difficult to see, but I think you will get the idea. You have to connect separately through an analog connection all of the speakers, the channels I just mentioned, directly into your surround sound card, and that's a requirement. This, in my case, I'm actually using the mainboard sound card of the Asus Z270F gaming mainboard, and some reviewers were saying that you do need a separate sound card, which I think is completely rubbish. You just need to make sure that you connect all of the speakers directly, and if you look at the ear cups, and this brings me to the headset itself, you can see that in each ear cup you have the various speakers. The big module, I think that's the bass speaker, and basically what happens is that through this thick cable you have all of those analog cables running, and they connect directly to the speakers. And if you just would, for instance, connect the main front speakers, then all of the other speakers wouldn't work, and you get a terribly sounding tinny sound out of this headset. And it's also the same thing if you listen to a sound source which has no signal on the other channels, just maybe the front, left and right, then this headset will sound terrible. You will get a tinny sound, like some of the other reviewers mentioned. But so this brings me to the thing of this headset. You really need to listen to a sound source that drives all the channels, that has a signal on all the sound channels. Otherwise this headset will just produce a weird sound. But looking at the headset itself, you have the microphone here, and I think the design of the headset is really nice. It's you can actually adjust the colors through the Razer software. I have it now at this bluish green, and then you have this at the top, this elastic band, which is really a great solution in my opinion, because you really don't have to do any adjustments. Just put it on your head, and because it's so elastic through some rubber bands, it really adjusts perfectly to the shape of your head. And then you have really big cushions. I'll come to the comfort in a bit, but then the rest of it, I think pretty light in general, and the design, I like it. Also the quality feels good. So let's come to the first category, the most important in my opinion, the comfort. A headset can sound as good as it wants. If the comfort is not there, you cannot really use it. And this is really one of the Tiamat's strengths. The headset is super comfortable. You can see those huge soft ear cushions. They completely engulf your ear, and your ears won't touch the cushions itself actually. So you can easily wear them for 3, 4, 5 hours without any fatigue. They are made out of this pleatherish material, so they will get a little bit warm on your head, but I didn't have any issues. It's winter here now, so in summer that might be a little bit different. But yeah, also the headset, like I mentioned, is super light, and with that elastic band here on top, that really gives it a perfect fit. I don't really know any more comfortable headset. They are really on the top with the Sennheiser Game 1 maybe, and also my Bose headsets, you know, not gaming headsets, but they are still, I often compare them to the Bose because that was my golden standard so far. So in the category of comfort, the Tiamat easily score a 10 out of 10. For the next point, we come to the microphone. Let's talk about the sound a little bit later. For the microphone, this is a category where the Tiamat actually disappoints a little bit. I'll show you a recording, make up your own opinion, and then we'll talk about it after the recording, and I'll share my thoughts as well. This is the review of the Razer Tiamat version 2 gaming 7.1 headset, and the recording volume is set to 90% in Windows, and on the amplifier itself to 100%. So as you can see, the quality, you're easily understandable with the Tiamat, but the sound quality is not really nice. I wouldn't recommend that microphone for anyone who wants to use it as their main streaming device. Maybe if they're streaming on Twitch, if you use the Sennheiser Game 1 for instance, you can easily use that as your main audio source. It's not the perfect solution, but way better than the Tiamats. And I think in this price category, actually Razer has headsets that come with the cheaper price point. The Manowar, for instance, I tested here on the channel. They have a great microphone, and I was wondering why they just didn't include such a microphone with the Tiamats. So that is really unfortunate. I hope they will improve that in the next version. But like I said, yeah, that's really a weakness of the headset. I would really say just a 6 out of 10 for the microphone. Then we come to the sound, and I already teased it a little bit in the explanation of the amplifier. You have to really know what to use this headset for. If you play games with this headset, or you're watching a movie that comes with a proper Dolby Digital soundtrack or a DTS soundtrack, then these headphones blow everything out of the water I have bought so far and reviewed on this channel. They're easily better than the A50s or the Sennheiser Game 1 in my opinion, because they have such a separation of the channels. You get such a precision of your environment. If you play the new Battlefront, for instance, and you hear all the footsteps and the small noises in the background, they are not so easily discernible if you are wearing a virtual surround headset. It all feels a little bit muddled in comparison to the Tiamat. So you only realize those things if you really do a comparison, or if you own both headsets. If you just buy any of those headsets I mentioned so far, you will be happy and you will have a great gaming surround experience. But then if you have a comparison and you switch between the headsets, you will realize a difference in the separation of the channels. And it's really a joy to play games. That's really the first time I have a cinema-like experience in terms of the surround experience. So full 10 out of 10. Then I want to point out a few quirks with the headset I had in terms of how the headset is made. The cord, this is actually the biggest issue I have with this headset, to the amplifier is quite short. I mean, it's not really a biggie in terms of it makes it unusable, but you have to locate the amplifier quite near your to your sitting position, because otherwise the cord to the headset will not be long enough. That was a little bit bothersome. I mean, I understand why they are doing this, because they are running all of the 5 cables through that quite thick braided cable, so I guess they didn't want to make it too long. This is my only assumption. I hope they will change it in the next version. That is something really they can improve. And what I really find a pity is that they don't have backlight for here the channel indications, because if you're trying to adjust the channels in the dark, you really can't. That was kind of a missed chance. Okay, before we come to the final conclusion, guys, I actually want to show you something which is really important when you're using this headset. You have to make sure, like I said, that you properly connect the analog cables to your sound card, but then in the software of your sound card, you have to make sure that your speaker configuration is really set to 7.1. Somehow in the Acer software, this setting switches to stereo once in a while. And this is really annoying. I think this is a bug in the software. But then if you fire up a game, you will immediately realize that something is wrong with your sound, because it sounds so tinny without any bass. Then you have to go back and just switch it to 7.1. Otherwise you will get a terrible sound out of this headset. And what I saw in a lot of conclusions of reviews here on YouTube of the Tiamat is that the headset sounded terrible, and that if you wanted to use it properly, you would need a real sound card, an external sound card. And those guys, they were actually, I think they were playing on decent systems. And I mean, most of the main boards these days come with a 7.1 sound card. So pretty much everyone can use this headset as long as they configure the speakers correctly. And you must just make sure that you have the separate connectors for the channels, and then you're set and good to go. Obviously, there's a little bit of tinkering that I did with the headset in terms of the channels. When I took it out of the box with the normal default settings, that brings me back to this knob here. The bass was a little bit flat, so I switched to the subwoofer setting here, and then I turned up the volume to, I think, like 70%, and this gives it a much heavier bass. So the bass also is really great with these headsets. Just turn up the volume of the subwoofer a little bit and you're set. Alright guys, so this is my conclusion of the review of the Razer Tiamat headset. And as you might have already guessed, this is really my new favorite gaming headset. You must really know what you are buying before you're getting yourself into this, because this is a headset that is really only good and shines when it comes to gaming and watching movies that really come with a true surround sound track. And anything else like normal music or watching YouTube videos where you only have a normal stereo soundtrack, they really only sound mediocre at best, and you might be disappointed. But if you are a big gamer, you will not get a more immersive experience than with the Razer Tiamat, in my opinion. And this is comparing this headset to other headphones like the Sennheiser Game 1, which is paired in my case with a proper amp, and also the A50s. They all fall short in terms of the precision, and really, like with the multiple speakers installed in each ear cup, you get such a great feeling for the surroundings, which cannot be done with a normal stereo headset. So guys, let me know if you have questions. There's probably a lot of controversy when you are looking at other reviews, but let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video, and leave a like, and maybe you subscribe to my channel, and I hope I see you in the next video. Have a good one, guys.